Cloud, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just say, Renee, thank you for contacting me. Because we've just been talking for half an hour and my mouth is wide open. You're telling me stories like, oh my gosh, I'm just loving this. So just to catch up, you have three children,
Yes.
4, 10, and 12.
Yeah.
And you, your husband, and these three children were in a camper for 2 years.
Yeah. That's
And you
correct.
loved it.
Yes, most of the time. Yeah, most of the time it was amazing, and the other times were also experiences. Yeah, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot to unlearn, like you were just saying about parenting. All these parenting skills. And I read loads of books because I wanted to become the best parent ever. Um, And then if there was a situation and I wouldn't follow the rule of the parenting skills, I would blame myself, or I would blame myself that I forgot the exact words I should say or the exact things I had to do. And it never worked out because, like you said, it's from the mind, it's not from your own wisdom. And that was a massive insight that there are no rules or exact books to follow. There's just common sense. When you get back into that wisdom, sometimes you say here and not further, and sometimes you see actually they need a hug, or actually we need to step away from each other to get back into that good mood, like I would say relaxing mood before you can have the conversation again. But that's what parents find difficult, because that's uncomfortable. We want to fix it now, and we need to talk about it now, and you need to listen to me now. But stepping away from it, and actually maybe a week later, or maybe never, maybe you don't even have to bring it up. That's what I find fascinating as well, is um, the saying sorry. And then your kid says, what are you sorry for? You were just angry. That's okay. It's, sometimes we're all angry. My oldest daughter, she comes sometimes, she says to me, I said, say last week or the week before, I said, I'm swallowing in self-pity. And then my daughter said, that's all right, you know, just experience it and it will, go again. And I'm like, oh, thanks. That's just what I needed. Um, yeah, they're so wise, they still know, um, that when they have an explosion, why do you have to say sorry? It just comes. And we've been conditioned that getting angry is, bad, or you have to apologize, or it's very interesting how, all these beliefs about certain emotions or certain behavior, um, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Swallowing self-pity? Who said that?
I said
One of
that.
your daughters? Oh, you said that. Oh, wow. Say more about that, Renee. I love that.
I said it to my daughter more. I came home into the camper and I was like, I'm swallowing in self-pity. And she just laughed and said, that's all right. And then I said, let's put some music on and have a dance. And then we put some music on and dance, which was also okay. Um, yeah, it was funny. Yeah,
And
yeah,
she's the oldest one? She was
yeah.
14?
She's 12. Yeah,
Oh, she's 12.
yeah.
Yeah, a 10
She'll
and 12, right?
she'll turn 13 in a couple of months. So by the end of the year. But yeah, it's great, um, to see all these different ages and the different ideas that pop up, and of course, yeah, if it's mind thinking or wisdom, and yeah,
Is it my thinking or is it wisdom? Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. That was so powerful. Like I asked you, Renee, if you came across the principles while you were on this 2 year voyage trip, I don't know, sabbatical. Your husband was a teacher and he took 2 years off from teaching. And um, so could we go backwards a little bit and talk about that a little bit? Because that was fascinating to me, that there was this clear, it sounded like there was this really clear demarcation between the time you were spending in this camper before you ran across the principles and then how things shifted after. You're
Mhm.
in the same situation.
Yeah. I think before it was still like searching for a better me or a better parent or a better life, more happiness, even though we were in the camper. So people would say, "Oh, that's amazing," which was, of course. But yeah, it was more like, "Oh, do I need to fix my children?" There was still this um, out like it's because of them or it's because of the situation or it's outside instead of inside out. And I was so tired of searching for a better me, but also that there's something wrong with my children, or I have to do something, and it's my mistake. So after the three principles, or when I came across it, uh, I started realizing it doesn't work that way. It's there is no need to keep blaming yourself, or um, there is not such thing as the best parent or the best parenting skills, but also the insight that my children, or the children, whatever children, are pure diamonds. There's nothing to fix. You don't there's more to the laying back, and from a quiet mind, um finding a solution. And maybe that sometimes is speaking to somebody from the three principles, for example, or going to a doctor because you have a broken leg, or there's still common sense. But it's not like I have to bring my child to a coach for them to get fixed, if actually I'm the one that has a problem, or has a busy mind, or a lot of thoughts. Kids don't really have that, to be fair. It's um yeah, like I said, and I don't know if I already mentioned it on this, but before the traveling I worked with children, and it was like, yeah, in Holland we have a saying. It's something like mopping water away while the tap is still running. Um, so you're trying to fix the children, but then they go home and nothing changes at home. The parents still do what they always did, and want to control or say this is the right way, or you have to go to school, or you have to do this. And yeah, when you actually realize it doesn't work that way, when you realize, um, what did I want to say? Yeah, that it's better to start with your own source, or with the parents, for example, and say, actually, if you start looking at your own wisdom, or looking from inside out, or see what thinking uh, does from a mind instead of from your own wisdom, then a lot of things can already shift in your family. Then you don't have to start with the children, because you know, you start with yourself. So that's why I started coaching mothers and not children. I was like, it's an easier way to go and start with, with the parents. instead of the children. And during the trip, that was yeah, so clear, you know. Yeah.
I love what you said about what do you do when the tap is still running and you're trying to mop up the water, but the tap is still running. What a great metaphor. Right. You want to go to the source. The
Yeah, you
source
want to
is
go to the
always our
source.
own. Yeah. The source is always our own state of mind, right?
Yeah.
That's the source of our experience, how we're looking at things, how we're perceiving it.
Yeah.
There's something you said too before I turned on the recording about relaxing into the situation.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, can you say more about that? That was just a beautiful way to describe allowing wisdom to
Yeah,
come through.
I think when we started traveling, um, we're in a closed space. So it's five of us in a small space, you know, and sometimes it's hard to we live outside a lot. Um, but one of our daughters um sometimes just needed the space, but she could like explode. And instead of straight away wanted to, you know, go on top of it, it was the relaxation into the situation. And sometimes that was crying, and sometimes that was anger, and sometimes it was actually literally stepping out of the camper, walking away till the mood is clear and you can meet each other again, you know. But that's something I there was a, let's call it conditioning, or for me as a child, or for me in growing up as an adult, um, thinking that this is the best way for them, or this is the best, this is how I've been taught, so this run just sometimes just came out of your mouth. And then now sometimes in the middle of a sentence I stop because I don't know what's best for them. i i I sometimes say, oh, maybe you should, and then I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe let's have a conversation, what do you think? um and my husband find that annoying because he says, you stop halfway through your sentences. And I'm like, yeah, because it didn't make common sense for me to, I don't know. I don't know what's best, you know? I no. And my daughter also finds it sometimes hard because um, instead of now just giving an answer, I say, what does your wisdom tells you? Or what do you think? What not think maybe, but you know, what comes from, and that could even be in small things, because I realized as a child, now as an adult, I had a really, really insecurity about making choices, always doubting. And a lot of choices were made for me by adults, you know, or by society. And that was one of the things that was so clear, like, no, children should make their own decisions, you know, from their wisdom. And of course, in some situations, you know, I'm not gonna let them cross the road, you know, there's common sense. You know, and it's helpful to this to tell them, you know, that is a busy road and maybe we should see how you can cross it. But in some situations, and you'll know, a child knows, you know, that they have their own wisdom and we have our own wisdom. And yeah, that's like I said, sometimes I just don't even know what to say because I don't have the answer.
Yes, that's so beautiful.
Mm.
That we expect ourselves as adults to have the answers. And sometimes the best answer comes from the child. You know what? It reminds me of this story I heard way back when, Renee. We got to get going soon in 6 minutes. I have a client coming on the screen, but I'm so glad we had this time together. Um, I heard this story that, there was a truck that got stuck under a bridge, right? You know, it was too tall for the bridge. And there's a bunch of adults standing around talking about, well, how are we going to get this truck out of from under the bridge? And this 7-year-old boy walks up to one of the men, I don't know if it was the father, the policeman, the fireman, whoever was standing there. And the 7-year-old says, well, why don't you deflate the tires?
Oh yeah. I know.
None of the adults came up with that as a possible solution. So,
No.
wisdom comes no matter what age, out of the
Yeah.
mouths of babes sometimes, when we quiet down the thinking machine, when we get
Yeah.
out of our brains trying to figure it out and calculate it and stressing ourselves out, thinking that we have to find an answer when common sense delivers an answer from
Yeah.
this place that's more really, it feels to me like it comes from the heart. It's
Yeah.
not coming, the head is to figure out calculations and what time we have to get up in the morning in order to get to work on time or school on time. And the heart is where the heart of the matter lies. If we
Yeah.
quiet this down, the heart will speak to us and guide us. Yeah. This has been so remarkable. I can't believe you reached out to me out of the blue, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the book was just inspiring, and I would love to be able to bring it into some kind of form into school. So I'm glad you were able to talk to me.
Oh, great. And, you know, Casper can make that happen, I bet. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, how did you even hear about this curriculum, right? The
Yeah, that
healthy
was
thinking, feeling, doing curriculum. How did you even hear about that in Sweden?
yeah, but it's in. I've got your book, the little thin book. It's an inside out world,
Oh, right. The little,
and it
yeah, it's an
yeah, and in
inside
the
out
back of
world.
it, yeah, and in the back of it, it tells about the curriculum, and I only read that yeah a couple of weeks ago, and I was then there was this. I'm gonna email her straight away. I'm here at this school, and something occurred. 1 second, 1 second. Something occurred in the classroom of my daughter, and for me that was like, oh my god, they all need to know, like how this works, and especially when they're 13, 14, all these insecure thoughts, and how to behave in a class, and so it'd be a great opportunity. Yeah.
Oh, and I saw your daughter poking in. Will she come and say hi?
You want to come
Yeah.
and say hi? Yeah.
What's her name?
Sorry. Is it in the back? Do you want to say hi?
I'd love to. Hi. Oh, there. Now I see you. Oh, it's great to meet you. Wow.
she,
I heard
she
about
says
your
it's great to meet you.
adventures.
She heard about your adventures in the camper. Yeah.
Oh, maybe you'll talk to me sometime on the screen here. Would you do that sometime?
Do you want to talk to her next time on the screen sometime? Yeah.
What's your name?
What's your name? She
She's
doesn't want to
4,
tell
right?
you. Yeah, she's 4.
No, it's a secret. You want to keep your name a secret.
Shall I'll tell her. Her name is Lotte.
Lotta, Lotta, Lotta.
With
That's
an E at the end.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, an E,
Lotte. Yeah.
Lotte, and it's
Yes.
pronounced Lotta.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That is,
Oh,
I've
thank you.
never heard that name before. Is that
Ah,
common?
yeah. In Germany, it's the last bit of Charlotte.
Right, Charlotte. Lotta.
And
Does she know about the book Charlotte's Web?
do you know of Charlotte's Web? Is that the spider? Is that about the spider? Yes, I think so. Eh? Yes, we know.
So
Her,
would you
her
call Charlotte would not be called Charlotta?
Charlotte in Dutch. Yeah,
When
yeah,
Dutch,
Charlotte.
it is Charlotta.
Yeah,
Charlotte's Web. And you took the end of that, Lotta.
yeah. Lotte is
Beautiful.
also a name. There's a box there with washing, and that's where your dress is in. she's gonna go and get her dress, her Elsa dress.
She's adorable. Can I, will she come out on loan maybe? Can I rent her for a while? Oh, what a love. Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool. She is for me like, it was a great inspiration when she came along just after COVID. For me, that was, you don't need school, there's other things in life, and yeah, she came as a little present, uh as in, we can do this differently, we can, yeah, we can
So
see how it.
she was actually the inspiration for you stepping into a camper for 2 years.
We already had the idea of traveling, but she had the idea. Yes, it was definitely for me a realization that everything happens naturally, like everything, seeing again, like we don't, they start walking by themselves, talking by themselves. Why do we need to teach them everything, or condition them in so many aspects? And yeah, she's never been to school yet now for the first time, but she's never been to childcare, or I was just like, let's listen to my wisdom. I want to be a home mom for a while. That was one of the lessons. Like, let's just sit back and relax a bit instead of work harder and harder. So spend time with her, with the other kids, and yeah, just step out of the system, to say, for like, if we want to call it something, just to see how it's like to just live the life on your own terms and conditions, kind of.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And I gotta run. I have somebody
Yeah,
in
I see.
the virtual waiting room, and you gotta run too. But thank you so much for
Thank you as well.
this. And we shall meet again.
Yes, and if you want to send the recording, that'd be great.
Yes, I'm gonna send you the recording. I won't do anything with it until you approve it and tell me if you want to cut any part of it. Yeah, this has
Thank you
been
so
lovely.
much.
I'm so glad it
Lovely to
occurred to
meet
me.
you.
Let's record this. This is really valuable.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh, you too, Renee. What's left of it? You're 6 hours
Yeah,
ahead, right? Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna have dinner soon.
Oh, great. Go have a great dinner. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.